Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturns. At the most recent Woodturners Worldwide symposium, one of the daily challenges was to turn an egg. And so I said I didn't want to just turn an egg. I wanted to do something special. Now, as a kid, my mother would make deviled eggs, which is an egg sliced in half. The egg is the yolk is extracted and mixed up with some spices, and I enjoyed them. But that may be a function of generational, because when I brought these home and showed them to my granddaughter, she says, "Oh, nice avocados." But I don't know what to do about that. But let's turn these deviled eggs or avocados. I'm not sure which generation you're in, but let's turn these for today's project.
Time is of the essence for this project. I have only one symposium day to complete the whole thing. I have glued 2 pieces of cherry with a piece of paper sandwiched in the joint. I then glued a piece of wood across the joint. This should reinforce the paper joint and absorb the splitting pressure from the centers. Then back to the lathe to rough round the spindle. With the wood now formed into a cylinder, I can mark dimensions for the egg. Years ago, someone published dimensions for the perfect egg. I have never seen a perfect egg. All seem to have some variation. Plus, the only measure I can remember is that the big end is a hemisphere. So I'm marking dimensions from the octagon method, except for only 1/2. The little end I guessed at what may work. Then, similarly to a sphere, I cut back the length and start cutting corners. One difference from eggs I made years ago is that I will finish the ends of the egg first while held in my chuck. Later, I will hold the egg in cup chucks to finish the middle. So for now, I am establishing a tenon hold. Since I use deep shark jaws, the egg will fit in my chuck. Now to round off the egg by eye until it looks like a large egg. Fortunately, there is no perfect egg shape. That is up to me for this egg. Now that the egg is in the chuck, I can trim back the nub on the end, then sand it through all the grits. After applying shellac friction polish and rubbing it at high speed, one end is finished. Now for the other end. Clean up from the nub, finish shaping the egg, and sand and finish. Both ends of the egg are finished, but the middle is not. I'm swapping my chuck for cup faceplates. I'm refining the fit on one faceplate to fit the egg. One great thing about threaded wood faceplates is that I can glue on a new surface when the old surface cannot be refined to the project at hand. This faceplate is for the live center. Then move that faceplate to the live center and mount another on the spindle. The only thing left is to remove the excess wood that provided the stop to the chuck jaws. Then sand and finish, blending into the finished ends. With the egg nearly finished, I need to devil the yolk. This is walnut, again with a paper joint with paper sandwiched between the wood pieces. This time I immediately glued wood to the end grain to prevent a split. Other than being the smallest sphere that I have turned, this is following the octagon method for hand cutting a sphere. The only problem with a small sphere is that I need a small cup faceplate. One of the end nubs from the yoke will have to serve. I only need to mount it and cut a cup to fit my tiny yoke. Then I can do the final refinements to the yoke, sand, and finish, of course. I am following the standard process for a hand-cut sphere. 3-axis changes while I exercise the ghosts and 3-axis changes for each grit of sandpaper. Now that the yolk is finished, I can split the egg and the yolk through that paper joint. Now it decides to hold fast, but not for long. After sanding and finishing the joint wood, I can glue the half yolk to the half egg, and my deviled egg is finished. In the future, I will probably always reinforce a paper joint, especially when that is where the centers will go. Here is this year's serving of deviled eggs. I do enjoy them. However, I guess my granddaughter has never had deviled eggs. So, in a pinch, these are an avocado, ready to slice into a salad or for guacamole. I guess my eggs can do double duty. Maybe I can put a face on the next set. Maybe legs. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe on my website, and be sure to tell your friends. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video and add it to my website. As usual, I appeal for you to wear your full face shield for safety anytime the lathe is running. I will see you next week with another wood turning video.